The Chicago Bears find themselves at one of the most important checkpoints of the year. Training camp and preseason have been all about evaluation, growth, and competition, but now the reality of the NFL calendar sets in. Every team must trim their roster down to 53 players. For some, it's the confirmation of their spot on the team. For others, it's the harsh reminder of how competitive professional football really is. Chicago has built a roster full of young talent, promising rookies and veterans with experience. That's a good sign for the future, but it also means the Bears will have to make very tough choices. To understand how things could shake out, let's walk through each position group, identifying the locks who are safe and the players who are still fighting for their NFL lives. Quarterback, no drama. All set, this is the easiest position to call. Caleb Williams is the centerpiece of the franchise. He is the present and the future, the player the Bears are building around for years to come. Behind him, Tyson Bagent has shown enough poise and growth to be trusted as a backup. Case Keenum, the veteran, brings valuable leadership and security should the Bears need him in a pinch. Together, that's the trio, and it's not changing. Austin Reed, who has been competing during the preseason, has flashed at moments but is a strong candidate for the practice squad rather than the 53-man roster. This room is settled, and fans can turn their eyes elsewhere for drama. Running back, health, depth, and hard choices. The running back room is where things get complicated. DeAndre Swift headlines the group. He's dynamic, explosive, and capable of turning short gains into highlight plays. Behind him, Kalen Mungai has taken full advantage of camp reps, impressing coaches and teammates alike. Travis Homer is not a household name on offense, but his value on special teams and his ability to provide reliable depth make him nearly impossible to leave off the roster. And then there's Roshan Johnson. A fan favorite, Johnson has the toughness, vision, and work ethic coaches love. Unfortunately, health has not been on his side. Multiple concussions in the past and a recent foot injury raise questions about his immediate availability. If Johnson is healthy, he makes the roster. If not, the Bears may need to place him on short-term injured reserve. This opens the door to another possibility, adding another running back from outside the team. NFL cutdowns often release veteran players who can still contribute. Don't be surprised if Chicago monitors names across the league to ensure they have enough reliable depth in this crucial position. Wide receivers. Depth battles take center stage. This is where things start to get very competitive. Four players are absolute locks. DJ Moore, Romo Duns, Alamide Zakos, and Luther Burden III. Together, they form a strong core of explosive playmakers and dependable targets. The real battle begins after those four. How many receivers do the Bears keep? 5 or 6? That decision shapes the futures of several bubble players. Tyler Scott reignited his chances with a strong showing in preseason action. Devin DuVernay brings returnability and speed, which is always valuable. Miles Boykin's size and special teams ability give him a unique profile that coaches appreciate. Then there's John Walker, who nearly blocked a punt last week and has the kind of hidden value that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet but can win roster spots. The Bears could take 2 of these names if they keep 6 receivers. If they only keep 5, the battle becomes even tougher. Tight ends, 3 are safe. One more could sneak in. Cole Kmet is a cornerstone of this offense, and Colston Loveland has shown promise as a rising player. Durham Smythe hasn't lit up camp, but his blocking ability and steady presence make him an easy inclusion. That's 3 tight ends the Bears can trust. If the Bears want a fourth, it becomes a coin flip between Steven Carlson and Joel Wilson. Wilson held the edge earlier in camp, but Carlson has closed the gap with stronger preseason performances. The final game may decide who sticks. Offensive line. Locked in, with one big question, this is perhaps the most crowded position group. Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones anchor the tackles. Ozzy Trapillo and Theo Benedict offer versatility, with Benedict showing the ability to swing inside to guard. On the interior, Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, and Drew Dowman are all unquestioned starters. Ryan Bates has had a solid camp and secures another spot. That's already 8 linemen who feel safe. Now comes the tricky part, Kirana Megaji. Drafted in the 3rd round just last year, Amegaji was supposed to be a developmental tackle, but he has struggled and slipped to the 3rd team. Coaches have not yet tried him at guard, even though many believe that could be his best long-term position. Do the Bears cut bait after just 1 year, or do they hold on to his raw talent and try to develop him further? That decision will say a lot about how patient the Bears want to be with young prospects. By the end of the offensive breakdown, we have about 24 players who can be considered roster locks. That leaves many still in the balance as we shift focus to the defense. Defensive locks and the fierce bubble battles, the Bears' defense has been under the spotlight this offseason. The team has added talent and developed depth, and now it's time to determine who stays. Just like on offense, the battles here are intense and will define how strong Chicago's defense looks in Week 1. Edge rushers, talent and competition. Montez Sweat is the unquestioned star of this group. He sets the tone as the top pass rusher. Behind him, Dale Odeyingbo and rookie Austin Booker bring youth and potential. Booker did pick up a minor injury, but if he's ready to go, his spot is safe. Then comes the bubble group. Dominique Robinson has flashed at times, but hasn't consistently put it all together. Tano Pasagnon, meanwhile, has stepped up with solid showings in recent practices and games. Daniel Hardy doesn't fit the traditional mold for this defense, but his special team skills could carve him a path. The Bears could even look outside the team, scanning cutdowns from other rosters to add more punch off the edge. Interior defensive line. Heavy competition for few spots. Grady Jarrett leads this group as a veteran force. Gervin Dexter and Andrew Billings round out the dependable starters. Rookie Shamar Turner has fought back from injury, and his draft status makes him a lock as well. But depth beyond them is uncertain. Chris Williams brings pass rush flashes, Jonathan Ford plugs the run, and Zach Pickens, a recent draft pick, still has untapped potential. Likely, only one of these 3 makes the roster, making the final preseason game critical for each of them. Linebackers. Steady and secure. Some position groups bring chaos. Linebacker is not one of them. Tremaine Edmonds and T.J. Edwards headline the unit as dependable starters. Noah Sewell and Jack Sanborn bring depth and physicality, while Amen Ogbongbemiga provides special teams value. This room looks set with no real drama heading into cutdowns. Cornerbacks. Injuries complicate the picture. This is one of the most unpredictable groups. Jalen Johnson is the unquestioned leader, while Kyler Garden and Tariq Stevenson are developing into reliable starters. Rookie Jalen Wright has been steady, and Josh Blackwell earns his keep with strong special teams play. But the uncertainty lies beyond those 5. Terrell Smith suffered an injury that may keep him off the initial 53. Rookie Zay Frazier has missed time due to personal reasons. Nick McLeod has risen recently, showing his ability to play in the slot. Trey Flowers, while primarily an outside option, has impressed coaches with his effort and competitiveness. Depending on injuries, at least one of these bubble players may be needed immediately. Safeties. Locked and ready, this group has little mystery. Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard are penciled in as the starters. Elijah Hicks and Eddie Jackson provide depth and versatility. No surprises expected here, unless injuries suddenly shift the equation. Specialists. The final 3, no drama here either. Cairo Santos is the reliable kicker, Torrey Taylor, the rookie punter, has been consistent, and Scott Daly is steady at long snapper. All told, that brings us to 45 roster spots that feel secure. The remaining 8 or so will come from a crowded group of more than 20 bubble players. Before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. The road ahead and final roster predictions. Now we arrive at the heart of the matter, the bubble players and the path ahead. For those fighting for the final roster spots, every rep, every snap, and every special teams play could be the difference between continuing their NFL dream in Chicago or starting over somewhere else. The numbers game, roughly 21 to 22 players are competing for 8 open roster spots. That list includes Roshan Johnson, Devin DuVernay, Miles Boykin, Tyler Scott, John Walker, Steven Carlson, Joel Wilson, Karana Megaji, Luke Newman, Doug Kramer, Jordan McFadden, Dominique Robinson, Tano Pasagnan, Daniel Hardy, Chris Williams, Zach Pickens, Jonathan Ford, Zay Frazier, Nick McLeod, Trey Flowers, possibly Terrell Smith. Depending on injury status, this is the very definition of a bubble. Most of these players have shown flashes at times, but consistency and health often decide who makes the cut. What the Bears must weigh: health. Players like Johnson and Smith may find themselves sidelined due to injury designations. That creates roster space, but also challenges depth. Special teams. Many of these bubble players won't be regular starters. Their ability to contribute on kick coverage, punt return, and other units may secure their spot. Coaches value versatility, and special teams is often the tiebreaker. Youth versus experience. Do the Bears hold on to young prospects like Amegaji or Pickens, betting on long-term development? Or do they keep veterans like Pasagnan or Boykin, trusting steady contributions right away? Positional balance. Keeping an extra receiver may mean cutting a defensive lineman. Adding a fourth tight end may squeeze out an offensive lineman. These ripple effects make the puzzle complex. What fans should watch for the final preseason game is more than a tune-up for starters. For bubble players, it's the most important game of their lives. Every tackle, every route, every assignment matters. Coaches and front office members will be evaluating not just the performance, but the effort, discipline, and versatility these players show. And even after the roster is cut down, the work isn't done. Injured reserve designations, waiver claims from other teams, and possible free agent signings could shuffle the depth chart again within days. What fans can take away is this: the Bears are in a healthier position than in years past. Depth is stronger. Competition is fiercer. And that only strengthens the foundation of a team trying to build a sustainable winner. Final thoughts: the Chicago Bears are about to make their most difficult decisions of the summer. Trimming the roster to 53 men is never easy, but this year feels especially challenging because the team has more depth than it has had in a long time. From the health questions surrounding Roshan Johnson, to the wide receiver battles, to the future of Karana Megaji on the offensive line, the storylines are numerous. On defense, the cornerback injuries complicate an already competitive group, while the defensive line faces tough choices between veterans and young prospects. For fans, this roster watch isn't just about names. It's about the future of the team. The decisions made this week will set the tone for the entire season. They will determine who protects Caleb Williams, who anchors the defense, and who fills the hidden but critical roles on special teams. The countdown is on. Every practice, every rep, and every game snaps matters from here until the deadline. When the final roster is revealed, it will not only reflect the present of the Chicago Bears but also shape their future.